creative friends, it's Gwen and I'm back today with another scrapbooking process video. Today's share is for Cocoa Vanilla Studio and I'm going to be using their These Days collection. So here's the plan for the page. I have gone ahead and used this cut file as my title. I've backed that with pattern papers from the A5 paper stack. I've also backed my photo with a paper from the paper stack. That one is called Daybreak. It's really beautiful. It's an ombre of colors. It's stunning. I've popped it all up on foam tape and I am going to position onto my background. Now, to create my background, I have used a piece of cardstock from my stash and the pattern paper in the 12 by 12 called Wall of Fame. I've added stitching around the edge of my photo and also around the edge of the background. Now, I also had a fun little idea to use the Puffy Alphabets from the collection. These are so sweet. I love puffy anythings, but Puffy Alphas are the best. So I'm going to extend my title, and so instead of it just being one big adventure, it's going to be one big adventure with you. I have positioned them flat onto the background of the layout, and I will later on go ahead and add some stitching, and that stitching will actually secure them in place. Okay, so to go with my lovely big title that I have happening here, I actually went ahead and did some fussy cutting. I've pulled out the floral pattern paper that's called Homegrown, and I just put on some Netflix and actually sat there and fussy cut out all of the floral elements. I cut the leaves out, I cut some of the individual floral pieces out, but then I also kept some of the floral pieces all together as a little cluster, like that piece there. And I'm actually going to use those for the bulk of the embellishing for this layout. This layout is going to be a more centered design, but it will have a flow that's more diagonal. So from the top left-hand corner of the layout to the bottom right-hand corner. You might have noticed that the extension of the title with you, I didn't center that on the page. I actually put it more towards the right there, and that was the reason for that. I had the plan that this layout was going to have more of a diagonal flow about it. I was super keen to have some of the embellishments on this layout overlapping the photo as well. So I knew that I had the white space, the empty space in the background of the photo there. And I was pretty keen to sort of use up a little bit of that to have the embellishments flow across and onto the photo there. So I'm loving how everything's sitting in together. I like how the flowers are nestling in against each other, and I am going to lock in their position. Rather than pulling everything up though, I am just going to add a little bit of foam tape behind the main pieces. It is at this point though that I realize, as I'm adding this little bit of glue behind the leaves here, I realize that my photo is not stuck down. I hadn't stuck it down. So I am going to have to lift up a couple of the floral pieces, just two thankfully, and get that glued into position with tape. And then I can go back and add the extra couple of flowers on top. I was lucky because I knew exactly where the photo was going to be positioned, that it wasn't that big a deal. My photo is raised up on foam, so I need to make sure that the florals that are sitting beside it, those ones there, that they're up on foam as well, so that the edge is flat, so that they sit flat against the photo and they don't, because if I don't do that, when I put them in the albums, they'll get squished and it will flatten over time. So I will make sure that there's foam tape behind that edge there along the photo. I am going to take a moment here to add some adhesive behind the rest of the floral pieces that I have cut out. And then I am going to add in the little banner piece there that you see on the left. That one is from the accessory sticker sheet, and I do end up adding it more towards the B in big. Again, I was thinking about the flow of the page because we're going on that diagonal. I found that if I placed it too far to the left, it broke the flow. So I want everything to sort of line up along. If you were to draw a diagonal line from the top left-hand corner of the layout to the bottom right-hand corner of the layout, that's the flow of the page. Oh yes, and I did show you the stitching that I added along the puffy stickers there. I love the detail of that. It kind of nods in, it sort of matches the stitching on my photo and the edge of the layout as well. So I don't mind that I've got that extra little element of stitching. It's quite sweet. Now we can't have florals without butterflies, can we? So I did actually grab out the pattern paper called Take Flight. That's the one that's got a bunch of beautiful butterflies on it. And again, while I was watching the Netflix, I pulled out that pattern paper and fussy cut out a bunch of the little butterfly icons. I like to have them ready as I'm creating rather than to cut them as I need them. I just find that if I have to stop and fussy cut things, it can break the creative flow that I have going on. So it's nice to just cut them in bulk and have them sitting there ready to position on the page when I get to this fun embellishing part. I am going to add them to the layout with some 3D foam, and I do tend to try and put the foam more towards the center of the butterfly so that then I can sort of lift their little wings up a little bit and give that illusion that they're sort of going to fly off the page. I love that. I'm also going to add in 3 of the wood enamel buttons from the collection. A couple are going to go up the top there as flower centers. And then this one, he needs to be auditioned in 100 places before I decide to pop him back in the place that he was to begin with. I was just finding when it was near the R, it was too in line with the one above the I there. Then I didn't want 3 at the top of the page. I knew I wanted it more towards the bottom of the page. So anyway, that's where it ends up right there, which did happen to be the same place that it started. And so the last detail that I'm going to add are a couple more of the typed sentiments from the accessory sticker sheet. And that is going to finish up the page. So thank you so much for being here, my creative friends. If you like the way that I scrapbook or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up. If you're new, feel free to subscribe to see more videos just like this one. Of course, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. I'll leave you with some close-ups and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, bye!